Hey everybody, welcome to today's tips and tricks right before the Thanksgiving holiday. If you're tuning in from the United States, I hope that you're looking forward to a Thanksgiving break. For everyone else, it is midweek and, just keep trucking along. As we allow people to roll in here, if you've received the email about this tips and tricks, we will be focusing on a few key features within surveys. What you learned today can translate over to quizzes, surveys, and polls, but most of the work that I'll be doing on today's tips and tricks will be within the surveys. So thank you so much for attending, taking time out of your day to attend one of these tips and tricks. If this is your first time here, my name is Tim Sessions, and I am the Director of Client Services. In the background, I have Leilani, who you may have talked to in the chat or via phone or email. She is part of our customer support team, and she'll be here to help answer any questions that might come up. Now, I'm going to throw a link in the chat. That link in the chat, hopefully you can all see it. I just sent it to everybody. That is your link to enter our giveaway for $100. Now, as you're going through that, make sure that you fill out step 1, step 2, step 3, which is the bonus entry form, and then hit complete or go to step 4. When you go to step 4, that's going to take you to a thank you page that will automatically send you over to a different form that says submit your info. In that form, it's going to ask you for a physical mailing address. And for those of you who are on this call, I want to reward each and every one of you with a Starbucks gift card that I have sitting next to me. I actually have a big pile and I need to get rid of them. So please fill out your information and you will get a Starbucks gift card in the physical mail. Yes, I could just take all your email addresses and give you a digital gift card, but I have a pile of physical gift cards that I want to mail out. So please enter the giveaway. Everyone on this call has a chance to win that $100 of Amazon gift card, but after you've filled out the form, then you'll be redirected to a new form. And if you want one of these gift cards, fill out your address and I will personally get one in the mail to you. That's just a little thank you from us. We're feeling the holiday cheer here at Aptivata. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to attend this tips and tricks. Now, if you aren't finding that form, please let me know. You can email support@aptivata.com, but everyone should be redirected, and that link is in the chat. Don't want to spend all of our time on that though. However, normally I do have an agenda posted here, but again, because of the holidays, we're just going to make this nice and quick. A few things though that I did want to bring up. You may have read it in the weekly email that we sent out yesterday, but we are seeing some awesome participation in our Home for the Holidays or Christmas Mortgage Miracle or whatever you've renamed our contest, where Aptivata actually provides the prize of giving a mortgage away for an entire year in 2022. I believe we're up 38% over last year, and we're on track to see over 1 million entries in our Home for the Holidays national promotion. So if you are running that promotion in your market, keep up the good work, keep promoting it, tie in those local sponsors, earn that local revenue, do whatever you can to piggyback off of our national promotion to benefit your station. You guys are collecting first party data, you are collecting sponsorship dollars. It's pretty amazing what you all are doing. And with that being said, our next national promotion, if your company or group allows you to participate in our national promotions, I know that there are several who like to do their own thing, but if you are allowed to, please check out our New Year, New Cash promotion. Definitely not as big of a cash prize as Home for the Holidays, but that is available for you to run. All right, that does it. Of course, we have our giveaway at the end. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask, but you can also ask throughout as well. So I'm just going to jump right into what we're going to talk about here. Whoops, that's the old agenda. I was just using the landing page there. So let me go ahead and give you guys a full screen here. And we are going to jump into a survey, and we're actually going to be talking about how to send entry confirmation emails and also download specific targeted data within a survey. So first things first, I want to talk a little bit about conditionals to set the table. So I'm going to call this survey "What's for Lunch?" And we'll make sure it's a survey, and I'll create my promotion. Now I'm going to bypass all of the sign up information and jump straight to the questions. And as we create these questions, I'm going to show you how to use conditionals so that you can really give the right questions based on the answers that you've asked. So when I'm talking about conditionals here, the first question I'm going to ask, and it's going to be a multiple choice just out of simplicity, is, if I can type here, "What's for lunch?" All right. Go ahead and confirm that. If I needed to add some more details or change the color or add a graphic, I can do all of that, but we're not going to focus on that right now. This is just a simple yes or no question in a survey. All right, so the next question is going to be another multiple choice. And you can do this with the different question types, but multiple choice is kind of easier to kind of guide the conversation here. So the next question is, what sounds good? And I'm going to give ourselves 4 options here. I'm going to say hamburgers, whoops, hamburgers, pizza, tacos, Chinese food. Okay, so I'll just say Chinese food there. Now, we only want to ask this question when somebody answers that they haven't had lunch. So our first question is, have you had lunch? If they say yes, then there's no reason to ask them what sounds good. So if they say no, then we want to present them with these options. And that's where conditionals come into play. Looks like we've had a few more people join the webinar. Real quick, just interrupting the flow of things here. I'm going to throw the link in the chat there for our giveaway. With that, you'll also be redirected to a form where you can fill out and get a free Starbucks gift card just for taking time out of your busy holiday week to attend this. So I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Okay, so if they answer that they have had lunch, we don't want to ask them what sounds good because maybe they don't have an appetite anymore. But if they say no, then we want to ask, well, what sounds good? What are you in the mood for? Hamburgers, pizza, tacos, Chinese food. Also in our surveys, real quick, you can actually throw in images as answers if you didn't know that. But we're going to click on this advanced button, and this is going to take us into our conditionals panel. So first thing I'm going to do is add a conditional and select what's for lunch. Now, whenever you add a conditional, you got to kind of think backwards. You have to think, what did they answer that's going to get me to this next question? So this is easy for us to think about right now because there's only one question, what's for lunch? And the choice, if they say no, then it's going to take us to this question. So what does that look like in a preview? Real quick, I'm going to click the skip button, and we do get this question a lot with that skip button. It's not present on live surveys. It's only present on previews so that you don't have to fill out your information. So if I click yes, it's going to completely bypass that next question. But if I click no, I think you all know what this will do. Then it's going to ask us the questions of what sounds good. Now we can take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps further, depending on how complex you want your survey to be. And I hope that by what you're seeing, your wheels are turning on how this can apply for individuals. Like, let's say you tie in a contest with a mortgage company or a bank or a car dealership or a loan company, you know, a title loan or any sort of loan company, anyone who wants really qualified leads. I'm hoping that you can relate what I'm saying here. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but try to tie it into some of those people who are going to want some of those qualified leads there. So, all right, so let's take it a step further. Rather than adding another question, we're going to add a few sections. So let's add as many sections as we have answers on our what sounds good question there, because what we can do here now is create our section, and our first section is going to be hamburgers, and second section is going to be, hopefully I have the order right that I typed in there, pizza. Section 4 is going to be tacos, and section 5 is going to be Chinese food. And you may have already picked up on it, but we can actually tie our different sections into conditionals based on questions asked in previous sections. So if we want to ask a bunch of questions about a restaurant, all right, let's say we have several hamburger restaurants in our area. So I'm just going to make this, again, simple. I'll call this Five Guys. I know there's a lot better choices out here than what I'm going to type in, but just for interest of time, say Burger King and Wendy's, of course. I know I'd choose Five Guys every time. Wendy's, okay. All right, so what we can do now is say if they chose the hamburger option in section 1, then let's ask them all the questions in section 2 that have to do with hamburgers, all right? So let's say our question is, where would you like to eat, all right? And now we present them with hamburger options because we know that they are interested in eating a hamburger for lunch. So how do we tie this conditional to a question? It's easy. We just go to the edit section in the section header here and add a conditional, choose our question. Now we have a couple of options here. And the one that we want to choose from here is what sounds good. And of course, if they select hamburgers, then we're going to present them with the hamburger section here. And of course, we'll go on down the line with pizza, tacos, Chinese food, and so forth. So there's no sense in asking somebody about what hamburger restaurant sounds good if they say that they're interested in pizza. So that's the concept behind that. Now, what's great about this is the sections, you can kind of give them all a different look and feel. So if you want to, you could throw in a section header, throw in a completion message when they're done with the section, and so forth. So now that we understand a little bit about how conditionals work, this is a great tool to get the answers, get the feedback that we want from the participation or the participants in a survey. But when we go up here to download all of this information, so let me go to the download tab here. We're only given a few options. We can download the participant information. So if we just want a CSV file of everybody who wanted the survey, then great, that's available. If we want to include their responses, that's available too. But what do you do if you only want the people who answered this hamburger information, because your sponsor of this survey is a hamburger company and they want to be able to market to all these people who sound like they want hamburgers? Or let's say it's people who love tacos and and you have a hamburger sponsor that says, hey, we understand you like tacos, but have you tried our hamburgers? I really hope that you're getting some of the comparisons here that I'm trying to throw down here. It is just lunchtime at Aptivata, so of course I'm going to base it on food. But you can do this with any sort of feedback that you're trying to collect. So again, under the download tab, you're going to get all the participants and their responses, but with that being in a CSV file, it makes it really hard to sort. So we actually have a feature that I suspect is little known, and it's actually under the settings tab of the survey. You're actually presented with a few more tabs. You have responder emails and download filters. So since we're talking about downloads, we can, let's go ahead and talk about the download filters here. What you can do is you can add a filter and you can name it whatever you want. So in this case, we'll name it hamburgers. And if you need to give it a description, you can, but this is where those conditionals come into play. So under the filter conditions, we can click add condition. We can choose a question, and under where would you like to eat, if they answer any one of these choices, then it could, or let's say, okay, let's build this scenario, okay? If someone says, where would you like to eat? And they say anything but your sponsor's page or your sponsor's restaurant, then now you have a list of people who love hamburgers, who are inclined to go to Five Guys, McDonald's, or Burger King, but now you could have a list of everyone who haven't or aren't in the mood for Wendy's and send them information or download information on them that says, hey, well, we know that you love hamburgers. We know you love Five Guys, McDonald's, and Burger King, but have you tried Wendy's? You can do all sorts of different conditionals. The way that the conditionals are set up is if you build within a certain condition, then you'll get your or statement. So they can say, where would you like to eat? Five Guys, McDonald's, or Burger King. You can add another conditional, and then this becomes an and statement. And if you want to include, whoops, I'm sorry. If you want to include what's for lunch, and they say yes, or let's see. I'm sorry. The question I should have asked at the very beginning, I completely derailed here. The question I should have asked at the very beginning is not what's for lunch, but have you had lunch? That threw me off. I'm so sorry. And if it threw you all off as well, I apologize. Thank you for sticking with me on that. So this first question here should be, have you had lunch? And then of course, that justifies a yes or no option here. So with this conditional setup, it says, where would you like to eat? And then they say that they have eaten at Five Guys or McDonald's or Burger King. And if they've had lunch, we want to say no there. Now let's jump into a little bit more of a mortgage style survey for an example here. Then we'll also get into email filters as well. So let me go ahead and jump into surveys. And I'm going to take a look at our mock mortgage survey that we have. We have almost 4,000 participants in this mock survey. So we have some download filters. We have some information that we can really dial into. So filter one, let's call this if people rent, all right? So we can add our condition. We can choose our question, what is your current housing status? And then the answer would be rent. So rather than having to sort through the entire CSV download of everybody who selected rent, you can actually dial directly into the CSV and find everybody who has selected rent. Now we can take this another step further, and let's say they say that they rent and they're looking to buy within the next 3 months or the next, whoops, I don't want another option. I just want 3 months or 6 months. Okay, so what this is going to tell us is we have a dialed in list here of people who are renting a home or an apartment or townhome, but they're looking to buy in 3 to 6 months. This gives us a list of individuals who are pretty qualified to any sort of mortgage company that says they're interested in purchasing a home. Now we can take it even one step further. And if they volunteered the information of what their yearly household income, then that gives you or your sponsor an idea of who is ready to buy a home, especially in this crazy market here. So let's say 50,000 to 100,000 and 100,000 and up. We have some people who might have the opportunity we have some individuals who have an income and are looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months. So you can see how really dialed in you can get with these download filters. Again, you can find those under the settings tab in the survey setup. All right, so hopefully I've painted a clear picture on how you can dial in the download. Now, we understand that we tout integrations quite heavily here at Aptivata, where we can automatically send information directly to any sort of CRM or email platform that we integrate with. Currently, with how this is set up, this will just give you a CSV download of that information versus integrating directly into a CRM. So this is a downloadable CSV file. All right, so let's talk responder emails real quick, and then we'll jump into picking a winner. Now, the responder emails, as far as functionality goes, they function the exact same way as the download filters do. But what this does for you is you can actually send a message based on the answers that survey participants have given versus downloading it in a CSV file. So if we go back to our restaurant example, we can set up a responder email that sends an email to everyone who answered Five Guys, McDonald's, Burger King, using conditionals. And that's where our message could come from that said, hey, it looks like you love one of these 3 restaurants. Have you tried Wendy's? And in that, you could send a coupon to people for Wendy's to try to draw some business over toward your sponsor's page. Now, again, that's the simplest form. You can get as complex as you want to with these responder emails, and you can actually set up multiple per survey that you do. So based on any questions and answers that they give, you could send a responder email to the participant. So the type of customization you have on this message, it is pretty basic. We have some placeholder text in here, but you can name it whatever you want. You can throw in a subject line. We do even have some brackets to address individuals by their first name. If you want to use that. By default, it does say quiz, even if we're in surveys, but you can obviously take care of that. What's nice too is if you have a CMS that actually generates a landing page that is meant to be scraped by an email platform, you can actually throw that URL in here, so you don't have to use our simple text editor. You can actually throw in a very nice email based off of a URL if you have that functionality. And then of course you set your conditionals and you direct traffic that way. You direct the messages that way. Very last feature that I want to talk about here is you have this checkbox that says auto send. So basically right after somebody sends their information to you, it will auto send that email based on their responses. Or at the end of the promotion, after the survey has completed, you could click send email now, and then that will send it at the end there. So there's an auto send feature or a manual send feature. Then of course you can always throw in an email address and test what it looks like there. So if you have access to surveys, I would recommend jumping in and kind of playing around with these features, get familiar with them. I know I gave you somewhat of a crash course on conditionals. If you have any questions about this after the call, feel free to email us at support@aptivada.com or chat in and we can walk you through anything that maybe has come up here. But with that being said, let's go ahead and I'm just going to check here if we have any winners, or excuse me, if we have any questions. And then, of course, let me jump into drawing a winner. Now, for those of you who did join late, in the chat here, let me throw it in one more time, is the URL to enter our promotion for a chance to win $100. But after you enter, make sure you go all the way to step 4. And even if you've already entered and haven't completed this, you can still go back and do it. Make sure you go all the way to step 4 because it's going to redirect you to a landing page where you can fill out. And I'm going to personally send you a Starbucks gift card just for taking time out of your day to join this tips and tricks call. So it's just a little thank you for that. So. All right, jumping into choose a winner. And as soon as I announce it, of course, raise your hand. It looks like we did have a couple people drop off here. So if your name isn't called and I haven't confirmed that they're on yet, then don't just jump off assuming you might have lost. I'm looking for that raise hand option here. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose the winner now. And we are pulling in a winner. It looks like we have John Hanlon. John, are you available on the call? All right, shot right up to the top there. Congratulations on winning $100, but everyone, you've all won at least a gift card to Starbucks. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great holiday. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you're celebrating, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks, everybody.